Hello Gemini, and welcome to your reading for the week of January 30th through February the 5th, 2024. This is a reading for you if you are a Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Gemini Rising, or otherwise have a significant Gemini placement in your chart. If you're returning to this channel, welcome. It's good to have you back again. I hope that this means that these readings are helpful to you. And if you are new to this channel, I would like to say welcome. It's good to have you here. I do hope you find these readings resonate with you. If you do enjoy this channel and these readings, please give it a thumbs up to the video. Do hit like and hit the like, hit the subscribe. Definitely click the bell notification so you don't miss any of these videos. They come out weekly. And if you'd like to leave me a comment and let me know how I did, that would also be really very helpful. Just a word about comments. I do tend to look at them once a week because I have two channels, and I tend to be signed into one a lot of the time, and then I usually check this one within the week. So if I don't get back to your comment right away, I'm not ignoring your comment. I will definitely be back to it. You can check in the description box below for a link to my website, PayPal donation link, and things like that, which again, there's no obligation for any of that. It's just if any of that appeals to you, that is down in the description. And the way I do these readings, if you are not familiar, is I do a full horoscope spread, and I do this according to astrological house. And I use the Egyptian cartouche system as my main deck. This is the one I've been using for a very long time, and it's, to me, at least in terms of my resonance, this one is the most reliable. And I clarify it with the tarot deck, and this week our clarification deck is going to be the Druidcraft deck, which is actually a new one to me. It's not a new deck by any stretch. I'm just going to hide this card under here because there's a little bit of nudity, and YouTube does not like that, so we'll just hide that there. This is a lovely new deck that I've got, and also I end the reading with an oracle, pulling an oracle card, and the card deck we're going to pull from this week is called the Gateway Oracle by Denise Linn. Okay. So, I kind of try to move everything over here so that you can see as many of the cards as possible, but I will hold these up. Okay, so if you're not familiar with how I do this, it'll be clear to you very soon. Okay, so the first house of this reading, the first position, is the Aries position. This is you, how you present yourself to the world, how other people see you, okay, and how you want to be seen. And okay, so you have the twins, which is really your own energy, with the Ten of Wands. So you are feeling a bit overwhelmed right now, Gemini. I feel like you may be relying on others to help you a little bit, to help support you. Maybe you're not feeling as confident in yourself, so you may be reaching out to your network of people to help you. This also can indicate that the word comparison comes into mind. So for some of you, it could be that you are overwhelmed because you are comparing yourself to another person, or maybe another situation, and therefore maybe you are overwhelming yourself, saying, "Oh, I'm not doing it like this person, so I'm doing it wrong, or I'm doing it badly, or I have to work harder, and I'm already tired." Overall, I feel like there's a sense of being overwhelmed here, and you need to kind of back off, prioritize, reprioritize, focus on the most important thing right now. And this may, I feel like for a lot of you, this may indicate just ask for help when you need it. But there definitely seems to be this thing of support. I think the other end of the spectrum from this would be, don't invest too much of your identity in other people. I mean, you are you, and you are fine, and you are doing things the way you need to do them. But, like I said, this is fine as far as being a card of support. But if you feel that this is more that you are looking at others and feeling you're not keeping up, then you need to worry about yourself and your own priorities here. Now, second house is Taurus. This has to do with your finances and also your possessions, your value, what you value. This is Venus energy. Okay, so we have Anubis with the Rebirth card, which is also known as Judgment. And so you are making some decisions here regarding your finances. Judgment indicates an awakening to something or to a situation. Sometimes judgment comes about when we have decisions to make, or when something is coming back around and we're revisiting it and saying, okay, here's this situation again. What are we going to do with it? But ultimately, there is this sense of finality. I mean, Interestingly, I mean, I'm kind of jumping a little ahead here, but in the center of the reading, you have the World, which is this is card 20, that's card 21 of the major arcana. So you're really, in terms of your finances, you're coming to some kind of a final decision here. And you have this with Anubis, though. So Anubis can indicate whatever decisions you're making. Anubis indicates a modicum of protection, of being able to take the rough with the smooth, being able to go with the flow of a situation that might be difficult. So if part of the reason you're feeling overwhelmed has to do with finances or with money, then this is suggesting that you are in fact protected, okay? That said, yeah, with Judgment, there is some decisions that need to be made. There may be just some things that you have been waiting on acting on, and it's like, okay, now I need to at least come up with a plan for for taking action and a deadline for yourself, okay? So there's something that's coming up here where you where a decision may need to be made. Overall, this is not negative. This just suggests to me that there may be situations where you are protected, but whatever's coming around, I feel Judgment to me is a bit like it's sort of like we're waking up to a situation, or to the fullness of a situation, seeing it in its fullness and its completion, and therefore we are able to make good decisions about where we're going, okay? Third house is your own energy, Gemini, and this has to do with Gemini is, okay, messages, communications, anything related to Mercury, because Mercury is your planet here. And in this Mercury thing is also self-effort, so self-employment, things like that, short trips, short journeys, and also potentially sibling relationships. Sometimes that applies here. Okay, so you have water with the Fool. So water indicates, okay, first of all, water can indicate a short trip or a short journey. This is not a long journey. This could be a journey to a place that has water. It could be someplace reasonably local to you. But this is not about long distance travel. But there is this, and in the third house, when I see cards like water or even Anubis or air, there is definitely a sense of a journey or travel being involved somewhere here. This can also just indicate movement and change. So you may be either getting messages about movement and change, or there could be, if you're self-employed, maybe there's there's changes that are going on in your business. Now you have this with the Fool. So the Fool indicates there's a need to take a risk or to trust in the process of something. So yeah, I feel like this this change is coming about through you're being encouraged in a way to take a risk, take a leap of faith in something. So if this has to do with business, it may be that you are making changes, or maybe even there's going to be a short trip that's going to be connected to making some kind of a change that, that could be individual to a particular person. But overall, I feel like there may be some new opportunities that are coming to you, and you have to, you have to trust. You have to trust in what's coming in. The Fool is Aries energy, so this is kind of being at the beginning of something, and not and when you're at the beginning, there is literally this idea, and you have this person kind of standing at the edge of a cliff. It's funny because you have the dog here, as you always do with the Fool card, kind of protecting this person in a way, but this person's really walking on towards the edge of the cliff here, and it's kind of like, okay, you're ready to take that leap of faith, but you have the dog here, the guide, who is there to kind of protect you and act as almost guardrail might be a strong thing to say, but just to make sure that you're not doing something foolish, okay? But it does feel to me like changes are coming, or like I said, whether this has to do with the trip or not, that's going to be dependent. Again, this is a general reading, so it'd be different for different people. But there definitely seems to be some changes. There's also a strong emotional component to water as well. So there could be some messages or communications that are very emotional as of late, and that may be either they may be surrounding this risk, or they may be prompting the desire to take a leap of faith. So I feel like, I guess if there's an overall message here, I feel like whatever's going on, you want to follow your heart rather than your head. But of course, make sure that you are still keeping both eyes open. You don't want to take, you want to take risks, but you don't want to be foolish, right? Fourth house, okay, this is Cancer energy. This has to do with your home, your family, your sense of security, your environment. Okay, so you have scarab with the moon. So scarab indicates changes. For some people, this could literally mean moving. Doesn't have to. It could indicate a change in your living space. You could redecorate. You could throw stuff out. You could move. I mean, there's just an idea of changing something around. Or it could also be that changes either to a family situation or your sense of security are, you're in this process of change. Something is coming to an end and something else is beginning. And you have this with the moon. So the moon really, there's always a sense of feeling, there's a lot of confusion with the moon. The moon can be about following your intuition on something. Again, it's back to the idea of following the heart, not the head. And but there could be a situation here where you're uncertain, where you're not really sure of the way forward. I mean, moonlight it gives us some light to see, but we can't necessarily clearly see the big picture of something. So this makes us feel uncertain. This may be part of the anxiety that we have over here. And so I don't know. So I feel like there's some uncertainty here. There definitely is pointing to changes, but I feel like these are positive changes. This is not, whatever's not clear now, there's going to be some situation that's coming to an end and another one that's beginning. Now, whether or not this is going to be a physical move for somebody, we'd have to go through the reading and see. Certainly, like I said, in a general reading, that's not going to be true for everybody, but definitely some kind of a change around coming. But the word refreshing comes into my mind. So whatever's going to change, whatever uncertainty you may feel now, I think you're going to feel much better once this change actually occurs, whether it's a physical move or not. Fifth house is Leo energy. So Leo has to do with creativity, any creative projects you may be working on. It has to do with love affairs if you are single or if you are in a relationship that is unlegalized. It can also have to do with children in some cases. Okay, so we have Pyramid with the Hermit. Now, the Hermit has to do, there's strong Virgo energy associated with the Hermit, and there's a sense of introspection here. So I feel like some of you may have been doing inner work. There could be creative projects connected to this. You could have been keeping a journal. You could have been doing artwork. You could have been doing something else that maybe you have created in connection with this inner work. But this can also have to do with going it alone. So if we're talking about relationship situation, you could be dealing with a Virgo person, but I feel this is more about you may be at a point where you are, if you're thinking about love, or if there's a relationship maybe that you're unsure about, this may be that there's a need to either withdraw and kind of figure yourself out right now, figure out where you're going. Or this could be a sense of right now you just prefer to go it alone. You're kind of withdrawn and want to focus on your inner work rather than necessarily getting out there with somebody right now. And with Pyramid, there's tests and challenges here. So this indicates a situation where there's, I believe the way that Murray Hope, who is the creator of the system, expressed it, she called it the good news eventually card. So I think this is almost like a test or an initiation that you're passing through. And with the Hermit, there's definitely a strong initiatory vibe here. But Hermit, you see the Hermit has a lantern here. And the thing about the Hermit is that, and again, the Hermit's standing here yet with the dog. We've got this dog theme kind of going through here. This guide dog theme. But the lantern here is the light that right now is currently contained within the lantern, and this is the light that you want to shine to other people. So I feel like right now you may be trying to figure out what you're doing, whether this is something creatively, whether this has to do with a child, whether this has to do with where you want to go in relationships, whether this is just about, this is also the house of leisure and enjoying yourself and recreation and things like that. So there's definitely a sense that some of you just may need to take a retreat or a time out for yourself, but there's a strong sense here of trying to figure out what's going on, where you are. This may involve some kind of a creative outlet, okay, which is not something you necessarily have to share with anybody. When I talk to people about doing writing or painting, they say, oh, well, I'm not a writer, I'm not a painter. It doesn't matter. It's not something you're writing for publication or to put out there unless you really like it and want to, but that's not the goal. The goal is to just do something to kind of have some way to express what may be going on unconsciously here. So there definitely seems to be a sense of introspection going on here, and there may be some tests. So I feel like you are you are really reevaluating and thinking about your next steps. And it could be having to do with a specific creative project too. Again, take it as it resonates. 6th house, this is Virgo energy. And Virgo is about your health. It can be about a job. It can be about things that you're worried about or concerned, because with Virgo, you have this very detail-oriented, wanting to get things right, wanting to get things perfect. Sometimes it has to do with domestic animals too, funnily enough, being we see all these dogs through here. But we have the King of Swords with Hathor. Okay, so on the health front, okay, this would be saying that for some situation, and again, just to be clear, I'm not a doctor, this is not medical advice, and anybody who has a medical issue should definitely see a doctor, see a medical professional. But for me, when I see Hathor show up in a health house, I always think that diet has something to do, or diet may be a way to alleviate certain symptoms. This typically shows up in a health reading having to do with something you might need to change, maybe a food you need to add or subtract from your diet or something like that. So again, that you'll know to take that as it resonates. But you have the King of Swords here again. So again, there's this idea of decisions and decision-making with the King of Swords. This is about being logical and analytical and really thinking about something. If we're dealing with a job or career, I mean, this could be a job that involves the intellect in some way, or involving some kind of education. Could be somebody who's a teacher or deals with the intellect or with words or something in some way. So that's a possibility there. And with Hathor, now Hathor has a little bit more to do when it comes to a job. There's a couple possibilities there. It could have to do with a job that is definitely more, for lack of a better phrasing, domestic. So sometimes this comes up when we're or Venus oriented. So it could be like fashion or hairdressing, or it could have to do with sewing, tailoring, cooking of some kind, baking. Things that are connected to that kind of stuff tend to be connected to Hathor. But in the Virgo house, Hathor could also just be about making a plan and getting organized. This could be the woman who just has it organized and has it together. Okay, it doesn't have to be a woman. It could just be if you're a man looking at this reading, then this could just have to do with tapping into that feminine energy, because the feminine approach is very different from the masculine approach. The feminine approach is more about potentially passivity, about nurturing, about thinking about the collective rather than say, making money and what I'm going to do individually. Like there's a strong feminine vibe to this. So this could have to do literally with these feminine associated things, or this could have to do, because there's strong both Taurus and Virgo energy with this, honestly, and both of them are connected to Venus here. But I feel here, like with Hathor, that there's, so this is either an actual woman who's involved in this. Okay, so there could be a woman who's helping you with this decision, or is maybe connected to this. The King of Swords could also indicate that this is another person as well, maybe a person who is an official person, or a judge, or a teacher, or something like that. Because you've got two person cards, and the genders really don't matter ultimately. Although, as I said, Hathor is really a card of femininity. So I don't know. I feel like there's decisions you're making either about health or about job. And there could be somebody who's coming in, either this person or this person, to kind of help you with those decisions, or to help, move you along. And it just seems like there's a sense of getting organized and maybe logically thinking things through. So again, take that as it resonates, whether this has to do with a health matter that you're solving, whether this has to do with some kind of worry, or whether it has to do with a job situation. Okay, 7th house is Libra energy. And Libra is about partnerships, marriages, legal partnerships, so business relationships, anything that might be contractual, because Libra is the scales of justice, so there's definitely a vibe here of something legalized in nature, or more serious in nature. So this could have to do with a marriage, it could have to do with business partnership, it could even have to do with certain friendships or family relationships that might fall into that category. So we have the Prince of Cups with Lotus. Now, Prince of Cups is like the Knight of Cups. Okay, so for those of you who, now, like I said, there's definitely a vibe of withdrawal here in the 5th house, which is like the love affair house. But with regard to a marriage or a marriage situation, like if some of you are in a relationship where you're looking for something more long-term, There may be some anxiety for some of you around whether or not there's going to be this invitation. The Prince of Cups is brings invitations of love, typically. And in this house, this could be, maybe you're wondering if a relationship that's kind of just been going along, nothing bad going on, but just kind of status quo, whether it's going to lead to marriage, whether it's going to lead to this invitation or proposal. If you are married already, then this seems to indicate to me that either you or your partner may be given some kind of an invitation here, okay? And there's definitely this sense, there's definitely the sense of peace and peaceful continuity here. So if there has been tension or stress between yourself and your partner, or tension about a relationship, this definitely indicates, peace of mind, needing to relax. It's interesting because you have the, directly across, you do have the twins. So it may be that maybe your partner is the person you're relying on for support, or some kind of relationship that's giving you support. But there definitely seems to be invitation or opportunity here that maybe you're waiting on. So, but with Lotus, I feel like this invitation or opportunity, if there is one, it may be coming in soon, but maybe not immediately, because sometimes this just has to do with peaceful continuity. Or this could be an opportunity that's coming in soon that maybe will alleviate some kind of stress. So it's going to be a little bit different for everybody in a general reading. So let's look at the 8th house Scorpio energy. So this is transformation. This is about, about big changes in your life. It can be about other people's money. There's a little bit more esoteric vibe to this house as well. And indeed, you have the Magician. So for those of you who are magically inclined, this is definitely the house that's connected to that. So this is about manifesting something. We have it with Bast. So Bast is, again, there's a whole lot here between the 10 of Wands, the Lotus, what did I see down here? The Moon, and, now we've got Bast. There's definitely the sense of needing to get rid of alleviate mental worries that for some of you may be translating into physical worries as well, or they may be influencing physical worries. This to me is about happiness, about trying to find what makes you happy. I feel like Bast is also, it's definitely, we had all these dogs, now we have a cat. There's definitely the energy here of community, okay? So just like we saw in the first house here, there may be a sense of not going it alone, like joining in with events. Whether these events be in person, whether they be remote, whatever it is, I feel like there's a sense of enjoying yourself, getting involved with community, reaching out to others in some fashion, like working towards manifesting what it is that you want. And maybe there's a need to calm the mind first, to get into this central space here, with like that Lotus seems to suggest, and to really listen to what your intuition is telling you, because I feel like the path forward, the path towards manifesting what you want, is going to come from alleviating mental worries and concerns, and putting yourself in the place of manifestation. It's funny, I'm working on a spiritual coaching certificate. I've been a spiritual coach, but sometimes I like to go back and get education and certifications, and the one I'm working on is literally, what I'm working on is the whole idea of manifesting as clearing your mental space so that you have room to, and then acting as if you have what you need already. And then, as they say, just chill out and relax and let it happen and let the universe do its thing. So that may be what the message is here. It may be that you have a lot of anxiety, maybe over things that have happened in the past, maybe even over present situations. But I feel like ultimately the first thing you need to do is kind of mentally get out of your own way so that you can manifest what it is that you need. Okay. Let's look at the 9th house. This is Sagittarius energy. So this has to do with long distance travel. It has to do with higher education, getting more education, expanding your horizons, philosophy, religion, deeper thought. This is a 3rd house. The Gemini house tends to have to do with more mundane day-to-day kind of communications. This is definitely about deeper questions and so forth. And then you have Seth here. Okay. So if you are planning on taking a long trip or going somewhere, this could indicate that there are obstacles to that right now. Similarly, if there could be a situation, if you're thinking about going back to school, or if maybe this is something happening if you are in school, like, and when I say school, I mean college, university, some kind of course, there may be something Maybe there's something you want to do here, or maybe maybe you're just running into blocks and obstacles. Maybe you're rethinking what you believe, okay? And the card that goes with it, because I always draw a second card when Seth appears, is the Sphinx. And the Sphinx would be suggesting that, okay, there's still things that you don't know here. And there definitely is a sense here that the advice of this card is always wait and see. Wait and see where something goes. There could be something else going on. There is definitely a sense of looking into something deeper, into excavating something. So maybe if you're dealing with a crisis of belief, this may be telling you, that it's time to look deeper into, getting back to where the root of the crisis, so to speak. But if this has to do with any kind of action, any kind of expansion, moving, going to school, going, taking a trip, doing something, this will be telling you for the moment you want to just hang back and wait and see. Whatever this obstacle is, I feel like it will clear. You have it with the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles definitely has something connected to work for some people. Again, there's this idea of mentorship. We saw the King of Swords down here. So I don't know. It could be that, this normally has to do with your own efforts, like, getting to work at something. So if you have been working on a degree, if you are working towards doing something, maybe this is a sense of being prudent, maybe making money, saving money, or just kind of putting the shoulder to the wheel, as they say, in terms of doing something. There's definitely a strong energy here of you doing something here. So again, you could be working on a degree, you could be working on something with education. This could be connected to work in some distant place or remote place, or traveling a long distance for work, like moving somewhere. Because remember, we saw the scarab down here with the moon. But so maybe, I don't know, maybe this is an aspiration that some people have, but this may be saying at the moment this may be blocked and you might want to just wait. So in the meantime, I would just work at whatever you've got in front of you right now. And eventually, this could be about building up an expertise on something before you make a move. Or this could just be saying that, some kind of work or something is going to come in, or something connected to your work or your finances that eventually will have to do with solving this problem. Okay, so again, it's going to be different for everybody. 10th house is Capricorn energy, and this has to do with your career, your reputation, your fame. Okay, so this definitely indicates Crook and Flail is definitely about reputation. It's definitely about being visible. It's about being an expert. The fact that I see the Eight of Pentacles over here, maybe you're feeling like there's an expertise that you can't use or you're blocked from using. That could be because, right now you're kind of waiting and seeing. So that's a possibility here. But this is definitely about having an expertise, being visible, being seen, having confidence in moving forward. You have it with the Hanged Man. So this suggests to me that maybe what we're seeing here with Seth is that and you've got the Hermit down here, so I feel like there's maybe a lot of reflection right now on who you are, maybe your professional identity, maybe your credentials, whatever, like where you're going. And Hanged Man is definitely telling you it is going to be time to make a sacrifice and also to take a broader perspective. Hanged Man indicates needing to look at the big picture. And I feel like the phrase that's coming to my mind is don't sell yourself short. With this, I feel like with discipline and, get routine and just be trusting in yourself, having confidence in your expertise and in your reputation that, you are going to move ahead. For some people, if you are working for a company, this could indicate a promotion for you. But whatever it is, there's definitely this idea. Hangman can indicate sacrifice. So there may be something we're changing or giving up. We see the change in the house right opposite. And maybe we're not really sure about what that change is going to bring. But this is definitely, to me, is saying, look at the bigger picture. You may be looking at this from a very narrow point of view, and the bigger picture, I think, is going to open up more vistas. We're definitely look at the 8th house. You're moving towards manifestation here. But you may have a belief that, maybe your skills or your job, or maybe you're feeling like somehow you have too many obstacles to moving ahead. But this is saying, that there's going to be a sacrifice to be made. And I don't know, that you are more of an authority, or you do have more resources maybe than you think you do. Or this can mean that you're going to get recognized for what you're doing. Now, another possibility here, sorry, this is just coming into my mind kind of quickly. is that some of you might be offered a promotion or something, maybe that's going to require a move, but maybe this move, and the number 8 seems to be important here because 1 plus 7 is 8, and then we have the 8 of Pentacles over here. But maybe there's problems with moving, or taking a long trip somewhere that make, and I feel like maybe there's a decision you're making that you're really trying to do soul searching about what it is you really want here. So I don't know. Yeah, this could just, for some of you, this just could be an opportunity that you're thinking about that maybe is going to require a move, and that might be the sacrifice that's required. So again, that's a very specific message for somebody. I feel more generally there's just this idea of pushing ahead and getting a little outside of your comfort zone and being more visible and having a move up in whatever your career is, although this may require getting unstuck or making a sacrifice. Okay. 11th house is Aquarius energy, so this is friendships, this is your social networks. It can also have to do with your goals, your destiny. Okay, so we have Prince of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords with Ta. So, okay, this, in terms of, if this has to do with your goals, then I think what it's saying here is that you are working at something. Okay, there's this Master Maker card here. And yeah, you've got the 8 of Pentacles over here. You've got the King of Swords here. You've got Hathor. I'm just comparing it to all this stuff around here. So there's definitely a sense of building something, deciding what your boundaries are, deciding what limitations are, deciding, what shape your dreams are going to take. Okay. This could also have to do potentially with a male figure, just as, well, it's interesting because you've got Hathor in the house opposite. Almost opposite. Well, actually, no, 5th house would be opposite. So you've got Hathor down here in regard to work, and then you've got Ta up here, which is Saturn energy. So this could be somebody who's Capricorn, potentially. Doesn't have to be. But there's a strong masculine energy associated with this. So this could be about you getting active. I mean, again, we have the magician over here. So we have this idea of active movement. I mean, Ta is a kind of magician. He's the master mason here in Egyptian mythology. And so there's definitely the idea that you are building something, but Capricorn energy is plodding. It's slow. It's like, okay, we build it one step at a time. And the thing, I say this because with Prince of Swords, there's definitely an energy here of trying to rush into something, like I have to do something and I have to do it right now. And so you might jump into something and say, oh, oops, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have jumped into that, because you may be very anxious to solve a problem here, or to move ahead with something. So this is definitely a look before you leap. You actually do have quite a bit here I feel like there could be opportunities coming in or changes. And again, for some of you, this could be a promotion or a new job opportunity, but they're definitely saying there's a reason right now to wait and to think, in spite of the urgency that you may feel here, okay? So I don't know. I feel like there's a sense of urgency with something for you. And the fact that this is in the 11th house, this could be something coming from your social networks or from a friend. Maybe that's this opportunity that we're seeing in one of these places. There could be an opportunity for you, but you may be saying, think about it carefully before you jump on it, okay? 12th house is Pisces energy. So this is what you're afraid of. This is what what you don't show to people. So if this is what you want people to see, or this is what people are seeing, then this is what people are not seeing, or maybe what you consciously or unconsciously are afraid of. Yeah, we've got Osiris with the 8 of Swords. So obviously there's concerns here about stability, about, your judgment, about trusting, what can, you've got the moon here, I can't see things clearly. What can I trust what's going on? And you have it in the Pisces house here as well, and the moon is Pisces down here. But there's definitely a sense of being concerned about stability. But again, just like I had said before, you have the 8 of Swords here. So the 8 of Swords is definitely this idea that you are looking at something only one way. That's why I think you have the Hanged Man up here, because it's the idea of you need to take a broader perspective. The woman who is bound here in this particular card, you notice that it might be hard to see in here, but her arms and hands are bound, but her feet are not. She is actually in a position where she could probably walk away from this. But this upper part of her, and the head, she's blindfolded. She's not seeing the way forward, because, and in a way, this is almost, I want to say self-imposed, but really I feel like it's more the result of a script that we have. So, some way that we're told that something has to go or what we have to do, and we're not seeing the broader options or what we have. So we're saying, well, this is the only way to do it, and I can't do it that way, so I'm stuck. And, so that's just not true. You do have other options here when you have the Eight of Swords. So this is what's unconscious. So what really, the thing that's making you anxious right now, this Ten of Wands, is thinking that you have, worries about stability, and maybe even about leadership, about whether or not you think you're capable of leading. But seeing Crook and Flail in the 10th house, that says to me, yeah, you definitely are. It's really just kind of being mentally stuck, and because you may be so fixated on doing something one way, you don't know how to break out of it. There's another version of this card in the Mystical Cats Tarot that I like. It shows a Siamese cat. There's like a branch on the ground, and he's laying underneath the branch, and he's on his back, and he's flailing because he thinks he's stuck. But all he has to do is roll over, and he can get out from under the branch. So it's that kind of a thing. It's like, again, there's definitely an energy here of you want to think about something. You don't want to, don't look before you leap, but also be aware that you may be thinking about something in a very narrow or one-sided way. So overall is good. I mean, I have to sort of hide this card, but it's, you have the World, and you have it with Horus. So, okay, so a couple things here. First of all, the World suggests something that's coming to an end, a cycle that's coming to an end. We've seen that. We've seen Scarab here. You have the Fool, you have the Magician, which are cards of new starts. And you have tens as well, like you have the Ten of Wands here. So there's definitely the sense of a cycle or something that's been occupying your time and energy coming to an end. Horus has to do with health and healing, so this has to do with good health. So this indicates some situation coming to an end. And the thing about the World is that this is a good card. This is about something successfully coming to an end. And for those of you who maybe, like, there may be some opportunity for you to either go abroad or go far away to do something, this is ultimately saying that, yeah, that's the direction you want to go into. You want to expand your horizons, okay? But, and again, that's only if that applies to you. It may or may not. But if you're reluctant to take an opportunity, know that right now something is completing and it's time for you to move into something very new. You want to get out of this narrow space. You want to move. So whether this is mentally, whether this has to do with something in your everyday life situation, something's coming to an end. And Horus is great because this has to do with healing. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with family. And overall, this is the card of somebody who's very charismatic, who's really respected for what they do, who's visible, who's seen, who's liked, who's attractive. I mean, Horus this is a really great overall energy for healing, for being inspired, for being creative. So yeah, I feel like this is really, you're taking some time out to think about stuff and to really consider properly what your path is. But you've got a lot of, there's definitely a sense here that you're ready to, you're at the end of a cycle, and once you have confirmation of this ending, you're really going to be able to move forward. The number 3 seems to be important. You have a 3 here. This is card 21, so that 2 plus 1 adds up to 3. Plus you have the Hanged Man, which is card 12. That also adds up to 3. Do I see other 3s? There's let's see. Are there the 3 cards in here? Let's see what the other kind of numbers we have. Let's see. I think there's a couple of 8s in here, and then so 8s would definitely have to do with being near the end of a cycle. So yeah, you've got most of what you have here. You don't have really, you have the Fool and you have the Magician, and with the World, that just suggests that this is a new cycle that is more the universe moving you in a certain direction. Okay. When I see the minor arcana cards, it could just be a more superficial change, but the fact that the majors are showing up, there's a major change coming about. And maybe if you've been challenged recently and have had to sit back and really think about things, there may be a reason for this. You may be being moved in a new direction, but I think it's telling you not to move, without consideration. So let's just see what the Gateway Oracle has for you. And okay, you got 2 cards. Oh, Mending Bridges and Launching Your Journey. Did I not say this? Okay. Yeah. So this is, I am an intrepid traveler sailing forth into the universe, is the little phrase down here. And on the Mending Bridges card, it says, I heal rifts, I am a mender. Okay, so this suggests to me that maybe before you're moving ahead, that you have certain things that you want to resolve first, okay? So once you've resolved these things, whether these have to do with relationships with people, whether there's, family things going on, whether this is, spousal things, work things, whatever it is, you want to make sure that there's healing first, and then it is definitely time for you to launch. So definitely a very promising reading for you, Gemini. You're taking some time out now, but you are definitely at the end of a cycle that you have successfully completed, and then you are going to be moving ahead soon. That's it for me for this week. I hope this reading was helpful. If it was, please do, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and we will see you. I do these readings weekly, so I will see you next week. Take care.